99% don't know this spot causes the old person's smell. Wash it and restore dignity. There's something deeply sacred about the way we care for those who once cared for us. It's not just about returning the favor. It's about love, dignity, and the quiet, powerful ways we say, "You still matter. You are still beautiful. You are still seen." But there's one topic that almost no one talks about. Not because it's unimportant, but because it's uncomfortable. Something that affects so many seniors, yet is silently endured or quietly avoided. A distinct odor that lingers, one that can gently push people away, not with intention but with sadness and shame. And the heartbreaking part, in most cases it's entirely preventable. This isn't about judgment, it's about truth. The kind that comes from years of watching loved ones grow older and realizing that even the most basic things like washing change with time. It's the truth that bodies shift, skin evolves, and smells arise from places we rarely think to clean. And while the world rushes to cover up with perfume, sprays, or polite distance, the answer is often much simpler. One overlooked spot that needs to be gently, consistently washed. That's it. Just one spot, washed properly, with care, with love. We don't talk about it enough. We don't teach it in schools. We don't whisper it in the ears of new caregivers. And yet for so many aging parents, grandparents, and elders, this quiet neglect slowly chips away at their self-worth. But today we break the silence. Not to embarrass, but to enlighten. Not to criticize, but to heal. Because when you know what to do and why it matters, you won't just wash away a smell. You'll wash away shame. You'll restore confidence. You'll bring someone back to life in a way they may have thought was lost forever. Number 1, the hidden truth no one talks about. There's a quiet truth that lives in the shadows of aging. One that people rarely mention out loud. It's not about wrinkles, not about gray hair or aching joints. It's about scent. A particular, persistent odor that subtly settles into the skin of our elders. It's not filth. It's not neglect. It's not poor hygiene. It's biology. And it affects nearly everyone past a certain age, whether they notice it or not. Scientists call it 2-nonenal, a compound that begins to form in the skin around the age of 40 and intensifies over time. It comes from the natural oxidation of fatty acids in the body, something that accelerates as metabolism slows. Unlike the typical sweat odor of youth, which is caused by bacteria, 2-nonenal is harder to wash away. It clings. It lingers. It quietly announces itself long before someone walks into a room. Most people don't know this. They think it's just old people smell, a phrase that often carries cruel undertones. But understanding the science changes everything. It takes the shame away. It invites compassion, because when we realize this is something the body does naturally, we stop seeing it as a personal failure. It's not a matter of cleanliness, it's chemistry. And yet this small shift in our bodies often creates a large distance in our relationships. People pull away without meaning to. They offer shorter hugs, avoid sitting too close, or silently open a window after a visit. And elders, though they may not hear the words, can feel the change. They feel the difference in how they're held, how they're welcomed. But most won't ask. Most won't say a thing, because no one wants to believe their presence has become a discomfort. So the silence deepens, the smell stays, and the soul begins to shrink. But it doesn't have to, because now that you know the truth, now that you understand the real reason, everything can begin to change. It starts with awareness. Then comes action, and most importantly, it must be done with love. Number 2. The forgotten spot that holds the smell. When it comes to hygiene, most of us think of the obvious: underarms, feet, and perhaps a splash of cologne or powder here and there. But the body is vast, and aging skin is different. It doesn't shed the way it used to. It holds onto oils longer. It traps odor in quiet corners. And there's one specific area most people never think to clean thoroughly. Yet it's the key to eliminating that lingering scent. Behind the ears, the nape of the neck, the base of the skull, these are the zones where non-anol tends to collect and settle. These areas don't sweat heavily, so they're often missed during showers. But they're oil-rich, and as we age, sebaceous glands in these regions become more active. Combine that with thinner skin and decreased circulation, and it creates the perfect condition for odor to cling. Imagine this: a loving grandmother who bathes daily, brushes her teeth, wears fresh clothes, but still notices people keeping their distance. She doesn't understand why. But no one told her that the very place she doesn't reach, the curve behind the ear or the top of the back where she can't stretch, is the very spot where the smell begins. Caregivers often overlook it too, focusing on the more visible or expected areas. And when a scent persists, they may feel frustrated, or worse, assume it's unavoidable. But it's not. This isn't an irreversible side effect of aging. It's simply an overlooked detail. And when addressed gently and routinely, the results can be astonishing. Even more heartbreaking are the stories of elders who feel rejected without explanation. A grandfather who used to bounce grandkids on his lap, now sensing they hesitate. A mother who cooked for her family for decades, now watching them eat with windows open or fans spinning. They might not say it, but they feel it. They know something has changed, even if no one has the words or the courage to tell them. But here's the beauty. One small shift in hygiene, focusing on that forgotten spot, can rewrite the story. A warm cloth, a mindful hand, a moment of care in that specific area can restore the sense of closeness that age was trying to steal. We don't need harsh soaps. We don't need expensive perfumes. We need awareness, gentle washing, respect, and a reminder that even the most delicate solutions can bring about the most powerful transformations. Number 3, emotional cost. When the smell becomes a barrier. When the smell becomes a barrier, there's a pain that doesn't scream. It whispers. It lingers in long silences at the dinner table, in the way someone avoids eye contact, in the slow shrinking of social invitation. The smell that develops with age doesn't just cling to the skin. It attaches itself to moments, to relationships, to the sense of self. It becomes a quiet wall between generations. This is the emotional cost no one talks about. When an elderly father walks into a room and watches others subtly turn away, when a grandmother opens her arms to hug her grown children but feels their embrace is shorter than it used to be, when an older man sitting on a church bench notices people shifting down just a little farther, these are not loud rejections, but they are felt deeply and repeatedly. With time, that subtle distance becomes a wound. Elders begin to internalize what no one dares to say. Maybe I'm not welcome anymore. Maybe I've become a burden. They stop reaching out. They decline invitations. They speak less, visit less, move less. What starts as a physical odor evolves into an emotional barrier, separating them from the world they once moved through with ease and confidence. But the saddest part, most of them don't know why it's happening. They assume it's just part of getting older. They blame it on hearing loss, slower thinking, or fading memories. They don't know the root of the distance is something so small, so simple, so easily fixable. And the people around them, those who love them dearly, don't speak up. They're afraid of hurting feelings, so everyone suffers in silence. No one wants to say the truth out loud, even though it could change everything. And what of the caregivers? the spouses, the grown children who notice the scent but feel trapped between discomfort and guilt. They sit with the tension, unsure how to help without seeming cruel. But silence, though it feels kind, can also become a form of neglect when a gentle truth might bring healing. The emotional weight of that hidden odor is heavier than any physical smell. It's the weight of missed affection, of half-hearted hugs, of withheld eye contact, of shame that has no voice. But here's the powerful truth. Love can speak. Love must speak. And when it does, with gentleness, with understanding, it can pierce through the silence, break down the wall, and give dignity back to someone who quietly thought it was gone forever. Number 4. The gentle, respectful way to help. Yet, there is a right way to help, and it begins with humility. The truth is, bringing up the topic of body odor, especially with someone older, someone you respect deeply, can feel almost impossible. But love is not about comfort. Love is about courage. And there is a gentle, deeply respectful way to open this conversation that honors the person while still offering help. Start from a place of care, not correction. Your tone should not be, "You smell bad." Instead, it must be, "There's something small that might help you feel even more refreshed. Can I share it with you?" Make it about enhancing their dignity, not pointing out a flaw. Because the moment someone feels shamed, they stop listening. But when they feel seen, loved, respected, they open their heart. You can begin with tenderness. I read something recently about how our skin changes as we age. There's this natural oil our bodies produce that's harder to wash off, and I found out that it collects behind the ears and neck area. Isn't that strange? I never knew that. I thought maybe we could try washing there more regularly and see if it feels better. If you're a caregiver, offer to help in the most honoring way. Make it a part of a soothing daily ritual: warm water, a soft cloth, kind words. Frame it as self-care, not a correction. Help them feel pampered, not pitied. You're not scrubbing away shame, you're restoring honor. If you're a spouse, make it something you share. Take turns washing each other's backs, necks, or hair. Make it intimate, make it beautiful. Let it be a reminder of the vows you made in sickness and in health, in youth and in age. Let this care be a continuation of love, not a sign of decline. And if you're a son or daughter trying to help a parent, remember your words can either close their heart or open it. Choose the words that open. Be patient. If the conversation feels too direct, offer them a gentle product, a new soap or washcloth, as a gift. Say, "I thought of you when I saw this. It's supposed to be really gentle and good for mature skin. Maybe we can try it together." What matters most is the heart behind the help. You are not correcting them, you are walking beside them. You are entering a sacred space where age has changed the body, but love can still restore beauty. Don't underestimate the power of your kindness. One conversation, one cloth, one small act can ripple through a soul that has quietly wondered if they're still worth caring for. They are, and you, by loving gently, can remind them. Number 5. The right way to wash this spot. Sometimes the most powerful solutions in life are the simplest. When it comes to the specific smell many seniors carry, not because of poor hygiene but because of natural skin chemistry, the answer isn't complicated. It's not expensive. It doesn't require medical intervention. It simply requires knowing where to focus, how to wash, and doing so with care and consistency. The key area: behind the ears, the nape of the neck, the back of the scalp, and upper spine, places where sebum, skin oil, collects but is rarely scrubbed with intention. These areas aren't naturally sweaty like underarms, so they're often forgotten during routine showers. Yet they are where tu-non-ala, the compound responsible for age-related body odor, tends to concentrate and cling most stubbornly. To clean this area properly, start with warm water, not too hot, not too cold. Use a soft cloth or a gentle sponge. Apply a mild, pH-balanced cleanser, preferably one that's unscented and specially formulated for mature or sensitive skin. Harsh soaps strip away the skin's natural barrier, often making things worse. You're not trying to overpower the scent with perfume, you're trying to remove the source of the odor itself, the oxidized oils. Take time to clean in gentle circles, especially behind the ears, around the hairline and along the upper back. If the elder can't reach this area themselves, offer to help, or if you're a caregiver, include it as part of their bathing routine. Be sure to rinse thoroughly and pat dry with a clean towel. And don't forget, consistency is everything. This should be done daily or at least several times a week. Once every now and then won't solve the issue. There are also specific products on the market designed to help with tu-non-ala odor. Some Japanese skincare brands, for example, have long studied this problem and created body washes that neutralize the compound at the source. A quick online search can yield options, but even without them, basic hygiene done right, with the right area and method, can make an enormous difference. Another powerful tool is exfoliation, done gently, once or twice a week. A soft exfoliating cloth or glove can help remove dead skin cells and oils that have settled into the outer layer of skin. Again, avoid anything too abrasive. Think of it more like polishing a delicate surface than scrubbing a stain. Don't underestimate the emotional value of this process. When an elder is helped in this way, they're not just being washed, they're being honored. They're being reminded that their presence, their comfort, and their dignity still matter. And when done with patience and love, it can be a deeply healing experience, both physically and emotionally. This isn't just a hygiene habit. It's a ritual of restoration. It's a moment where embarrassment fades, and beauty is brought to the surface again, quietly, gently, lovingly. Number 6, the beauty of restoration. When the smell fades. There's a quiet miracle that happens when that hidden smell begins to disappear, not just from the air, but from the atmosphere of the home. It's not just about the body being clean. It's about the spirit feeling light again, about confidence returning to a face that had slowly forgotten how to smile fully, about someone stepping back into their place in the family, not as someone tolerated, but as someone embraced. When the odor fades, so does the invisible wall that kept others at arm's length. Grandchildren crawl into laps again. Spouses rest their heads on each other's shoulders without pause. Adult children lean in without flinching. Conversations grow longer. Visits last deeper. And the elder, who may have once felt embarrassed or unlovable, begins to shine with renewed presence. This change may seem small to the outside world, but inside the heart of that elder it is nothing short of rebirth. Suddenly, hugs feel different. Clothes feel fresher. Sitting beside someone no longer carries the same self-conscious tension. It's as if a layer of shame, once heavy and unspoken, has been gently lifted. Not through a grand intervention, not with expensive treatments, but through small, consistent acts of care. Even more moving are the emotional ripples it creates. When someone feels clean, they feel worthy. They walk straighter. They speak more clearly. They meet others with confidence instead of hesitation. And those around them begin to treat them differently too. Not intentionally, but instinctively. We respond to dignity when we see it. We gravitate toward those who carry themselves with peace. And nothing brings peace like the quiet assurance that you are cared for. For caregivers, this transformation is just as meaningful. There's something sacred about watching someone you love return to themselves, watching as light returns to their eyes, as they begin to engage again, as they feel free to love and be loved without reservation. And for the elder, every smile, every touch, every moment of closeness is no longer clouded by doubt. This is the beauty of restoration. It's not just about removing a smell, it's about removing distance, removing shame, removing the quiet grief of being left on the edge of family life. It's about bringing someone back to the table, back into the circle, back into the arms of those who matter most. And all of it begins with something as simple as washing a forgotten spot, gently, lovingly, again and again, until shame no longer lingers and only love remains. Number 7. Beyond cleanliness, the deeper gift we give. There comes a point in life when the most meaningful things we offer each other are not grand gestures or material gifts, but presence. Gentle, attentive, and compassionate presence. When we reach out to help someone we love feel clean, not just in body but in spirit, we are offering something far deeper than hygiene. We are giving them dignity. We are giving them belonging. We are giving them back to themselves. This journey of learning to wash the right spot, to understand the source of an unpleasant odor that most seniors are unaware of, it's not just about fixing a problem. It's about restoring honor to a person's humanity. It's about saying with every cloth, every touch, you are still worthy of care. You are still someone I delight in. Because aging can be a slow, quiet erosion of visibility. People stop calling, stop asking opinions, stop seeing the person, and start only seeing the age. But when you take the time to lovingly care for an elder's body, especially the parts of them that the world tends to ignore, you send a radical message: I see you, all of you, and I'm not turning away. That one act, a gentle wash behind the ears, a fresh cloth on the neck, a soft towel laid across aging shoulders, is a declaration. It says, you are not forgotten. You are not fading. You are here and you are deeply loved. That is a spiritual gift, a soul-level offering. For some elders, it may be the only time in their day when someone touches them with affection. The only time their body is acknowledged not as broken or failing, but as sacred. And in that simple act, something holy unfolds. Pain softens, shame dissolves. The past, with all its memories and longings, becomes a bridge, not a barrier. You don't need to be a nurse. You don't need medical training. All you need is love, and the willingness to step into a space where care is given slowly, deliberately, with a reverence that says, this is sacred ground, and I am honored to be here. So when you wash that spot behind the ears, along the neck, over the shoulder blades, you're not just cleaning skin. You're reaching into something far deeper. You're restoring confidence. You're renewing relationship. And you're telling someone who may feel invisible in the world, you are seen. You are valued. You are loved. Conclusion: a simple act that changes everything. We live in a world that often rushes past the quiet things, the invisible burdens, the unsaid words, the small discomforts that grow into isolation. But every now and then, we get a chance to pause, to notice, to listen not just with our ears but with our hearts. This is one of those moments. Because hidden in the folds of aging skin, behind the ears and along the back of the neck, lies something we've forgotten to honor, a place where shame can grow silently, where dignity quietly fades, unless someone takes the time to care, unless someone chooses to love deeply enough to act. You know now what 99% of people don't. You know the smell isn't about uncleanliness. It's about chemistry. You know that it's not about judgment. It's about compassion. And you know that with a soft cloth, a gentle word, and a little bit of courage, you can change everything. You can restore what the world too often takes away from the elderly: their confidence, their closeness with others, their ability to feel fully present in the lives of those they love. This isn't just a lesson in hygiene. It's a reminder of how powerful love becomes when it's expressed in the smallest, most intimate acts of care. So today, don't look away. Don't wait for someone else to fix what's been hidden. Be the one who steps forward. Be the hands that restore. Be the heart that says, you are still worth everything. Because you're not just washing a spot. You're washing away the silence. You're washing away the loneliness. You're washing in love.